Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
I do too. Thank you. This is episode number 7 of So You Want to Start a Business, and what would a business be without having successful employees? So I'm really excited to have the opportunity this afternoon, I don't even know what time of day it is, to talk to Matt at Malouf. Now, Matt is in charge of all of the company culture, and that's something that I find very interesting. There are a lot of people that don't think about company culture and the importance of making sure their employees are taken care of. So Matt is here to tell me all about that kind of stuff. So first of all, why did you get started in like company culture type stuff? How did you get into this position?
Well, I actually didn't start in company culture.
Nice.
So just to give a little background, so I started at Malouf in 2014.
Okay.
At that time, we were in our old building across the valley here, kind of over by Gosner's and the old Yesco building.
Uh-huh.
And I was the second hire on the online department, and
Cool.
my job was to manage our customer reviews.
Nice.
So Amazon reviews, Overstock reviews, and all other product reviews online. Fast forward about 4.5 years, and our company had grown a lot. Just my one team within the online department was now 7 people.
Wow.
And we were managing 380 reviews a day.
Holy cow.
So we're getting a lot of, customer feedback in. The methodologies that I developed up to that point with the team were working very well. We could learn faster about what people liked and didn't like about our products. And I had also set up our our employee reviews on Glassdoor and Indeed, and I could see a similarity there between managing the product reviews and managing the company reviews on Glassdoor. So I went to Sam and basically said, there's a lot of potential here for us to expedite the learning of our employee experience if we capitalize on that set of reviews just like we do for customer reviews. And before you knew it, I had switched over to the HR team.
Nice.
And was more heavily involved in the employee experience specifically. So really, my specialty is feedback and analysis.
Cool.
And I started with customer feedback, and now I'm applying those methodologies to employee feedback. So that's kind of the tie-in that I've had with integrating to company culture initiatives.
That's awesome. So with company culture, what's the difference between like company culture and like HR? Because, a lot of people, I maybe feel dumb for thinking about this, but I was thinking about it earlier today before I had the opportunity to come in. I was like, okay, so if I didn't understand company culture, I didn't understand anything along those lines, it's basically HR, but like amped up to make sure that you're actually taking care of the people that work here, right?
Yeah, I think that's pretty close. I don't have an HR degree, and we still have all the traditional HR functions within our company here at Malouf. But you could say culture management and employee experience management is a sophisticated way of listening to your employees. It's really an employee feedback loop. Having a strong feedback loop helps you identify what employees are saying, what they're feeling, and then you take action. So the loop component is, there's two ways. You're receiving feedback and then you're giving feedback back to employees. You're not just taking in all the comments and then never sharing what's happening. So traditional HR is, paperwork. It's the hiring, the, exit surveys and all the things that are more traditional. But really what I'm seeing is the evolution of social well-being with the work experience in general, because we have a higher quality of life with technology, with transportation, communication. Work is also seeing big revolutions. That it's a part of everyone's life.
Absolutely. And
it needs to be better. And so, if we can leverage what people think and feel about it, then really that's what culture management is. It's interpreting feedback and then using it for decisions.
Yeah. So I've been extremely impressed with seeing the way that Malouf holds on to employees, the way that they treat their employees. Everybody that I've ever talked to that has ever worked at Malouf has been like, oh my gosh, this is the best job that I've ever had. And I think that ties a lot back into the way that you guys invest in employees, the way that you listen to what has to be said and then you respond in, I don't know, giving different things to make your people successful, to make your people be happier. With the adaptation into, I guess, integration sort of with social media and with everything changing so quickly, do you think you guys have been able to keep up with it? Because I feel like a lot of people, and maybe I'm speaking wrong, but I feel like a lot of the people that are working here are a lot younger, and in a lot of the younger generation. And does that seem like, with us being like growing up with social media, do you think that has helped any?
Well, our average company age is 32.
Oh,
so
nice.
It is on the younger side
Yeah.
for sure. I think most of our employees are used to social media.
Yeah.
So I think, that has an impact for sure.
Yeah. It's really interesting to me. I've worked at a couple of different places, and the one place that I can think that was like my best employee experience was a place that had like not necessarily culture, but it was like they kind of worked to, it was a bigger corporation, and they had figured out how to be able to like be involved, I guess you could say, in the employees' lives. Hey, it's your birthday, here's a happy birthday. And I noticed when I drove up, there was like a sign up at the front that was like reserved for happy 5th year, and then there was like a face on the front. Do you guys do a lot of that?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely felt special when I got to park in that spot. It was
Ooh.
good week for sure. But yeah, looking at the data from our last year employee engagement survey, so that's a company-wide survey that goes out to our employees. It has about 35 questions that are standard, so we can benchmark how we're doing against other companies in our industry and just in the U.S. in general. We added some custom questions so we could learn more specifically about what's happening at Malouf. And one of the questions I thought was very impactful was, what's the number one thing that's most important to you about Malouf and our culture? The number one response was individual care.
Yeah.
So that's caring for each person as a human, not just their work output, not just their job performance, but who is this person, and what's going on in their life. Can we be a positive part of their life? And that mentality started organically with Sam and Casey in the very beginning, the early days of the company. When I started, less than 40 people in the company, they could know everyone. It was easy on a personal level.
Yeah.
They are talking to people on a constant basis, and now fast forward where we're almost at 500 employees.
Yeah.
It's not really possible to have that same personal touch right from the founder level. And so what we're doing is we're attempting to institutionalize culture. We want to train our managers to have that same way of thinking of caring for their people as people. We want to have formalized processes where employees can feel validated and share their thoughts and feelings. And we want to respond to that and be accountable for what we're what we're receiving and then reporting back. So yeah, I would say individual care is definitely number one. There has to be a genuine care for your people.
I love that. I love that there is the one-on-one relationship, that you guys are paying attention to your people as people, not just as, oh well, we'll just replace them if they end up going somewhere else. It's how can we better help our employees to be successful, and how can we help them to grow? And I love that. Now, you guys have a lot of things in place, I can see, for creativity, for benefits that you've got going on around here. Tell me about some of the cool things that you have implemented to make people be more successful, more driven, I guess.
So there are some fun perks at Malouf. The top 3 that always get mentioned in the reviews would be our lunch program would be number 1. We have an in-house farm-to-table restaurant.
That's amazing.
We've got a farm right on the other side of the parking lot, and our kitchen staff, they will literally grow their own peppers, dry their own peppers, ground their own peppers, and then make chili powder out of it.
That's amazing.
It's like next level intensity, and it's all focused on healthy eating, but having that daily free lunch also allows for a lot of collaboration.
Absolutely.
And when we're growing so fast, a large majority of our employees haven't been here very many years. So having that daily opportunity to interact with people, it expedites relationship building.
Yeah.
It helps people get to know people in the company faster. So that's definitely the number one. Number two would be our gym. We have a huge on-site gym.
Beautiful.
It is pretty awesome, and it got a huge expansion when we added onto the office here. So we've got the basketball, pickleball courts, tons of lifting, cardio equipment, and a full-time personal trainer.
Wow. Along
with 15 weekly fitness classes that employees can go to free. They can go to for free and bring a +1. So that's a big one. Number three would be the salon. So all employees can.
What?
Yeah, you haven't heard
no,
this?
I haven't heard this.
Okay,
this is amazing.
We'll go through a couple more here. The salon. So we have an in-house salon with 2 employees, and every employee can get a free treatment once a month. So you've got lots of options there.
Wow.
Last time I checked, there were 23 options, everything from haircuts to manicures to massages and everything in between. Those are the big 3.
Yeah.
And then from there, we've got lots of events. We do crazy parties, like we have a casino night with fake gambling, outrageous, weird prizes.
That's amazing.
We have a huge, summer party where we have our little village of food trucks, and everybody can eat their heart out for the night. And we've got, a huge Halloween party with a $3,000 grand prize for the best costume. Christmas parties. We have stuff every month, whether it's after work or at work. The Cinco de Mayo, we do a huge bike to work day, Mad Max style race in the parking lot. Like it gets
cool.
crazy, but there's always something fun happening. And I think those are some of the big ones. But people just like having fun with other people. And I know for myself, I've developed real friendships here. Like I've hung out on multiple occasions with coworkers, whether it's biking or other different activities. Yeah. And I don't think I would have done that at other jobs I've had.
Yeah, absolutely. I think about jobs that I've had, and I lived in Vernal for a little while, and I think about the friends that I had out there, and it's like I haven't talked to them I've been here for three years, and I haven't talked to them for 3 years.
Oh, man.
And it's crazy because these are the kinds of relationships that you guys are really focusing on, like, cultivating, and I love that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course. I think that's the coolest thing. With all of your benefits, do you see a lot of people, I've heard number 1 place to work in Cache Valley. Do you see a lot of people trying to apply all the time for new positions?
Yes, I hesitate a little bit just because I don't want to discourage anyone, but we do have really high application rates. That does come with the reputation, and it's kind of a sensitive topic for the sake of we don't want to be known as a company that is very boastful or we have a big ego, but the rankings on Glassdoor and other review sites, those awards are completely dictated by employee feedback. And it is true, we've been ranked a top best place to work in the nation. We've received 7 different awards, 2 from Glassdoor, 2 from Inc. magazine, 1 from Comparably, and 1 from In Her Site, which is kind of like Glassdoor, but for women specifically.
Nice.
And we're not perfect, but we do feel like we're doing a lot of things good. The thing that keeps me at Malouf is one of our company values is better every day. Because we're not perfect, we're going to keep trying to be better. We will never just say, okay, we've made it, so we don't need any more feedback. We don't need to know what you think. We don't need to know how you feel. We've made it. That's not going to happen. We are committed to knowing what pain points are there and what's going well and continuing to get better. Yeah.
Constant analysis, I think, is one of the most important things when it comes to business, because if you're not constantly analyzing and you're not constantly making sure that you're keeping up or, doing better every single day, then there's really no point. I love the humility, though, that you guys have with this job, because it I can see it, I can feel it just by having this conversation, just because you guys are doing something that you truly believe in, and I love that. Absolutely love that. So do you guys, with training on uppers coming in and the massive quick expansion that you're seeing, is it hard for the training of new managers, or do most of the people kind of already have the, I guess, skill set for that?
Yeah. So training is definitely something that's important.
Absolutely.
Growing pains is our number one biggest complaint, actually, when you look at the employee engagement surveys of, most mentions positives and negatives. The most mentioned negative is just, that normalization of change. I like to call it corporate puberty.
Yeah.
Things are changing.
Yep.
It's natural, but maybe uncomfortable, and you just have to look forward to the bigger picture ahead. And so, yeah, that's a real thing. We do have that younger average employee age, and but we are committed to being better. We have trainings for our manager group that's continuing to be developed, and monthly trainings for the entire company at large. And we record those and put them on our internal website so other sites can see some of those trainings as well. But it is definitely something that's important. So, yeah.
That's cool. I'm just like amazed by all of it because it has grown, and it has grown so quickly. I remember when I moved back from Vernal, I drove past and I was like, what the crap is that? And so then I had to look it up and had to figure it out. And it was just something that I just think is so cool, that this idea, I don't know, just came into existence, and all of a sudden it was like, hey, everybody also loves this idea and let's run with it. What has been, would you say, the biggest struggle when it comes to developing company culture since you have started?
Okay, so the biggest struggle, I think in the beginning it was just gaining trust in the process.
Yeah.
Like, one of our feedback loops is an anonymous suggestion box, and we've gone through several different versions of that program. The first one, or actually I guess it was the second one, we were posting all the submissions and replies on a board in the break room, and it became the topic of a lot of skepticism and negative gossip, I guess you could say, because things were going up there that it became a tool for broadcasting a complaint, more or less. And it was difficult to kind of navigate around that and to build trust in the fact that, hey, we've recognized we don't want to post everything,
right, but
we do want to get just as many incoming comments. So how can we avoid the negative broadcasting but also capitalize on the large amount of feedback we were getting? And eventually we found a solution where there's a software that allows us to respond to every person directly with keeping the response anonymous, and reporting on the results of that change, I think, is what ended up helping us keep our response rates so high, and also having the endorsement of SAM. Leadership matters.
Absolutely.
And if your leaders don't believe in something, then it's hard for everyone else to. So having that endorsement from SAM, as well as being transparent and reporting back to the employees on how the program is going, I think that really helped. So yeah, I would say participation and trust in the process was one of the bigger ones.
So how involved do you guys keep employees in things, I guess, decisions, etc., from there? Because it seems like you guys have a pretty, open door policy with everything. So I guess just how much do you keep them in the loop?
Well, a lot.
Yeah.
There are a lot of decisions that we make based on the voice of the employee. For example, we have a lunch survey or a feedback survey that's, I'm going through the results right now, and we're going to be making some adjustments to the lunch program. That's primarily driven by employee preference because, if the company is willing to invest this much money in the lunch program, why would we not just make it the lunch that employees actually want?
Right.
That's going to have a higher experiential value for the employees. A couple other silly examples, we love fireworks at Malouf.
It's fine. Fireworks
Sam loves fireworks.
It's great.
So, exactly. Our Wi-Fi is called Sky Bacon here. That's our favorite brand of fireworks. And Sam became a legal firework distributor, so we buy literally tons. I think we bought 10 or 12 tons of fireworks last year, and then
so literal tons. Wow.
Yeah, literal tons. So a ton is 2,000 pounds, so it's a lot. But we ordered fireworks based on employee preference.
That's cool.
We send out a survey hey, here's what's coming out. If you want to put in your feedback, then let us know. So there are a lot of decisions like that. Not all business decisions can be made that way.
Right.
But if you're choosing between two things that you're okay giving,
yeah,
why not let the employees choose?
Absolutely.
They'll like it more.
Right. Absolutely. And then they feel more invested too, because then they have had the opportunity to have their say heard. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really important. So if there's companies that haven't necessarily started implementing some sort of company culture, what would be your biggest piece of advice to have them start doing that?
So I get that question quite a bit, actually. The first thing would be you need to measure what your employees think and feel today. Mm-hmm. Start with an employee engagement survey, or go do a read-through of all your reviews that are already on Glassdoor and those other employee profiles. Then you can say, okay, here's the baseline. Here's where we're at today. From that information, you need to make an action plan of changing. So you'd need to establish, okay, so what do we care about? What are our values as a company? How can we take where we are today with the results from that first survey and get to that goal over here?
Yeah.
One caution I would give to any organization that does want to start that, if you do that survey with your employees and then you don't follow up, you don't continue on that path, you may end up hurting your culture even more.
Yeah.
It's likely just another opportunity to disappoint your employees. It's a missed expectation. Mm-hmm. So if you go down that path, you want to commit to it. Now, should you go down that path? Yes, you definitely should, because there's overwhelming data that shows the correlation between company performance and happy employees. Now, the reason why we at Malouf try to have a positive employee experience, it's not just because we want to make more money.
No, of course not.
But we have a genuine care for our employees, and that's trickled down organically from Sam and Casey, who are they're still very involved as our founders today. But there is more to do. So let's review. So you need to start with the baseline, get your survey. Number 2, establish where you want to be, what are your values, what's employee engagement scores do you want to get, and then 3, you're going to take action based on that data, test some plans, and then 4, you need to continuously remeasure. Mm-hmm. It's like a never-ending cycle. It's like you're running for president, but the campaign never ends. Yeah. You're continuously campaigning indefinitely, forever, and you just have to keep getting the feedback and using the feedback. So does that help? Yeah,
it really does. Now you guys take surveys. You guys take all of your surveys. What do you do for, do you sit down, do one-on-ones, do goal setting for employees? What's your strategy for that?
We do have one-on-ones between managers and team members. Mm-hmm. The minimum expectation is twice a year. Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, no, it's not. Sorry, once a quarter.
Once a quarter.
But the recommended frequency is once a month. Okay. We do have some managers that meet with their team members for a one-on-one as much as every week. Yeah. We're still kind of navigating what's the best norm there. Some articles I've read, it said once a month is the best frequency. Mm-hmm. But that's something that's more on the manager level. So we try to empower our managers as much as possible. Yeah. We don't want to be a micromanagement style organization, and so giving learning points and trainings to our managers, and then having a continuous conversation about how things are going in their realm and their departments has worked so far up to this point. But I'm sure things will continue to evolve as we grow, just like with that value better every day. We don't want to stop, but that's kind of where it is right now.
That's something for me. I know that I learned a ton from that big bank that I worked for. We would sit down and we would set our goals every quarter, and we would figure out, and you had sales quotas that you had to meet and all of that stuff, that we'd sit down and we'd have the conversation, but it wouldn't just be on a sales level, it would be on a personal level. What kind of personal goals do you want to accomplish? Do you guys dive into that?
Yeah, definitely. That's part of that number one mentioned thing about our culture, individual care. Yeah. And the manager to team member relationship, that one's exceptionally important. And taking the time to ask those questions about, what's going on in your life, and is there anything we can do to support it, and kind of be a cheerleader too in some ways. That's certainly very important. So
So if you had like a piece of advice for somebody that maybe works for a company that doesn't necessarily have that company culture, or what would it be necessarily, like goal setting in place, what would you recommend for them to do?
I would say see something, say something.
Cool.
Talk to your manager. You notice something isn't as good as it can be. Start by giving that feedback. And if you're not getting feedback in return, then say that. Say, hey, you know, what can we do to open this up a little bit more? And if you are looking to make a greater change on your organization as far as company culture, share with your leadership, your management, your Glassdoor page. Say, hey, this is what's floating out there right now. Does that matter to you? Should we care more about this stuff? And make a real discussion out of it. Yeah.
Do you see this company culture? I mean, it's such a, I feel like it's such a new thing. It's probably not a new thing. I've just probably been living in the dark forever. Do you see this as becoming more of a norm in like normal businesses? Because you have like the mom and pop businesses, and you have the smaller businesses kind of that are getting started up, or the bigger corporations that haven't had the opportunity to do this. Do you see like a mass exodus of people trying to figure out how to make this work in other realms?
I definitely do think there's a group of companies that are seeing the value in this, and they're pioneering the next wave of employee experience. Yeah. I do think it's worthwhile to care about this stuff. Absolutely. To care about your employees, to care about the experience that they have at work, to care about their feelings, their opinions, because really it ultimately plays to your benefit. Absolutely. Who's taking care of your customers?
Right, your employees. And if your employees are miserable, then it's not going to be as great of a customer service experience.
Exactly. And there's a lot of information out there that does support that. You know, happy employees are less likely to quit, they're more likely to be productive, and they also get higher employee or customer satisfaction scores. So there's a huge ripple effect that happens from caring about your employees, and it is something that matters. At Malouf, it's more than just about making money. I don't know if you knew this, McCall, but last year we became a B Corp. Have you heard of a B Corp?
That's amazing, though. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, so I'll kind of give the backstory there. So a B Corp, or a benefit corporation, you could almost think of it as like a hybrid between for-profit and non-profit. There are, as of right now, to my knowledge, 6 in the state of Utah, and we're the largest.
That's amazing.
And to become a certified B Corp, you have to go through a very rigorous application process. It's over 200 questions, and it gets validated by a third party. And in that process, we established our company, triple bottom line is what we call it. So we have 3 things that matter to us. We have planet, people, and profit. So planet, we care about sustainability and making a positive impact on the earth. Our corporate office is a net zero energy consumption facility where our solar panels produce more energy than we consume.
That's amazing.
We're trying to improve the sustainability and enhance the sustainability of our supply chains, along with other things. People, we care about our customers and their happiness. We care about our employees and their happiness. And we also care about the health and safety of other people who are victims. So our primary cause is to fight human trafficking and child sex exploitation. Yeah. It's a big problem in the world. There are over 2 million children living as sex slaves today, and industries, the pornography industry and other industries on that side of things, they fuel demand for human trafficking and abuse of children. So we take a very active stance in that. It's not a token effort. Our employees can donate time every month, charity time off, to volunteer with some of our partnered organizations like OUR, CAPSA, the Children's Justice Center, and the Family Place, and there are several others. But that's part of our existence. We're not just the profit. The third one is profit. We have to make money or we go out of business. But there is more to be done in the world, and Sam and Casey believe that we can leverage business to make a positive impact on the world. Yeah. And that, I believe, is a huge part of our success. Absolutely. The foundation, our Malouf Foundation, was formally organized in 2016. But way before that, Sam and Casey have always had a very giving mentality.
Yeah.
And now it's, as we grow, things are becoming institutionalized,
Yep.
like our culture. And the same is true of our foundation efforts. And I think that also matters a
Yeah.
lot to employees. Those efforts were also a top mentioned thing in our employee engagement survey. So when you talk about what matters in the company culture, giving is a huge component. Having a cause that employees can find meaning in and feel like they're not just here as a number. They're not just making numbers and sales.
Right.
You know, there's an underlying purpose to the existence of the company.
I think that giving employees a purpose is so important. I mean, it gives them, it goes back to like, you need to be authentic, you need to be genuine, you need to be invested genuinely in your employees, but you also need to have, like you were saying, like that purpose. Because I think it's incredible what you guys do with the human sex trafficking and children sex trafficking. I think it's incredible the amount that you give back. But I think that a lot of people, you know, as cliche as it is, like when you are serving, like you feel better. And so it gives you more, like you're saying, drive. It gives you more purpose. And I just think I think it's incredible because of the way that it's all come together. I don't know. I just think it's really cool.
I'm glad.
Oh, good. So if people want to find more information about Malouf, people want to find more information about growing their own company culture, what would you recommend they do?
Check out our profiles online.
Okay.
MaloufSleep.com is our website. MaloufFoundation.org is our foundation website. If you want to know about the culture, I would first look at our employer profiles. So search us on Glassdoor, Comparably, Indeed, and in her site. And then for sure on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and the rest. We're all over all the different profiles. So
Awesome. Any, like, one piece of advice that you would give to business owners, people who are trying to take that next step into starting a brand new business?
Well, if it's for a brand new business owner, I would just say consider your employees and their experience as you start.
Absolutely.
As a foundational piece of your business model.
Yeah, I think that's so important because, like you were saying, if your employees are not happy, then you are not going to be making money ever, because they'll end up leaving, and then you got to go through the hiring process and that whole thing. Matt, thank you so much for your time. I've really been looking so forward to this interview, so thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, McCall.
Of course. And this has been So You Want to Start a Business, episode 7.